As a cinematographer, when I wrap on a project, a lot of the times I'm driving home and I reflect on what I just did that day, what we just did as a team, what we just shot, the story that we told, or the commercial that we shot. And a lot of it is reliant on how good was my relationship with the director on this project? How great was my relationship with the crew members? Was I being a good leader? Was I being effective as a DP? What was the size scale of the project? Was it a project that I went into that was daunting? Was it something that I couldn't sleep the night before? All of these different things are truly what make up the overall experience for me as a DP when working on a project. Today, I want to reflect on a project that I just did, which happened to be one of my largest commercials yet. And it hasn't come out yet, don't have any edits. I just want to be able to talk and reflect and hopefully be able to give some insight on what I walked away with on this project. When the commercial does come out, I plan on doing a way more in-depth breakdown to show you guys how we were able to accomplish this look. So like I said, this commercial was huge. I felt like I was entering a new territory going into this project. I've done commercials before that have felt large, that required a lot of crew members, a lot of logistical things to figure out, a lot of a new level of leadership that I had to grow into. And this project was no different. In fact, it was probably one of the largest that I've done. And I can honestly say that there were moments where I started to feel a little overwhelmed. I started to second guess my capabilities, or if I was like meant to be there and be the one shooting this commercial. Because there was a point where I think we had 9 people on G&E, 3 or 4 people on the camera team, and everyone's turning to you, asking you questions, looking to you for answers. And we have big lights outside the windows, we have huge rigs inside this one area, and I'm looking around like, okay, I was the one that made these decisions. I hope it works. Sometimes you get a little nervous when you do something new. You try new things as a DP, because the only way you really get to grow as a cinematographer in film is by pushing the boundaries, by pushing the limit of what you believe that you're capable of doing. And I noticed that for a long time, it's so easy to blame the project for not being creative, or blame the director for not giving you creative ideas. And you ask yourself, why are my projects not looking like this person's? Why are they not feeling like this or that? And to be brutally honest, sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror as like, am I the problem? Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I need to fix myself, because at the end of the day, it's a visual medium. It's a visual format, this filmmaking thing that we do. And you as a DP, and your role on set is to create that visual thing. And it's no one else's job but yours. Obviously, there are people around you that help make that possible, but at the end of the day, what you're seeing in front of the lens is your decision. And of course, with the director and production designer, art, wardrobe, all those things mesh together, create that cohesive image. But if you're not willing to experiment or try new things or push the boundaries, even if it's a 5 to 10% increase of how can I make this mundane project 5% better, 10% better, you're not going to grow. You're never going to get to the place where you're starting to get higher end projects, more creative projects, projects where people are looking to hire you because of your creative vision or your ideas. What helped unleash that in this project was the director telling me that he was looking to get pushed out of his comfort zone. He was looking to experiment, try new things, and he really wanted me to think outside the box, because this was a pharma commercial, a medical commercial, and a lot of the times they're pretty boring. They could be very mundane projects, and he really wanted to try something new. He wanted to push the envelope in this one. And, I took that as an opportunity to unlock new things in my brain and try things that I've wanted to do. And, that comes with fear. That comes with, being on the day, seeing all the setups start to happen. And you're like, okay, my idea, this is starting to become real now. This is real life. And is it going to work? And, sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. And you have to use those lessons Use those moments as opportunities to learn, to grow, and find moments of, okay, I trusted myself here. I trusted my gut. I trusted my instincts, and it worked. Why did it work? Maybe this didn't work. Why didn't this work? I want to share a few things kind of in like a bullet list format of things that I was nervous about in this commercial. Pushing the boundaries on the visual side was one of the biggest things that I was really nervous about. Of course, making sure that we weren't going over budget, making sure that we were staying on schedule and we didn't have to deal with overtime because there were so many people involved. Overtime gets very expensive very quickly. And obviously, when you have new ideas and you want to try things, that comes with potentially increasing budgets or getting bigger toys and bigger things to play with. So walking that line was something that I had to find on this project. Asking for new equipment that was fairly new to me. Pitching ideas that I necessarily haven't done, but I relied on my relationships with other DPs, my gaffer, my key grip, to also help inform me that this was the right tool for what I was trying to accomplish. I had conversations with DP friends about what I was trying to do. I'm like, if you were in this scenario and, I'm trying to do this thing and the other, this is my idea. What do you think of this idea? How would you have done it? Or how would you do it? And I've said this before, but believing in myself and what is in my head and ensuring that I truly believe in myself and what I'm able to accomplish. And also getting people on board with that vision as well, because part of being a DP is having those ideas, and not all the time are people going to just say, yes, that's great. You have to kind of pitch your ideas. You have to stand by your ideas if you believe it, or you have to adjust your ideas, or maybe collaborate with somebody if they have a better idea, but that idea stemmed from your idea. So a lot of it is collaboration, a lot of it is pitching. Sometimes it's defending your ideas or ensuring that you are the one that truly believes in what your idea is. Leading a crew of 10 plus people, 12, 13 people, some of whom I've never worked with before, that's always a daunting thing when, all these people are looking at you for answers and guidance. And sometimes you don't necessarily know the answer, but you have to work with your team to be able to come up with that answer. And that's just part of problem solving. Working with a production company and director for the first time. Again, this was a project that we were willing to push the boundaries, try new things. And given that this was my first time working with this company and with this director, there is a level of nervousness to be able to prove yourself that you are the one that's right for this job, you were the right choice, and that you're capable of doing something like this. And honestly, going back to the crew members, just making sure that I was a vocal, effective leader on set. And a tip that I want to share is when you're working with crews at a bigger size that you're maybe unfamiliar with, you're working with 5, 10 people in G&E, 3, 4 people in the camera department, it could be easy to get overwhelmed. And my advice is read leadership books, learn about leadership. Your job as a DP is artistic, yes, but it's also very human. It involves compassion, it involves collaboration, it involves patience, it involves being a supportive person for your team. And you're never going to get the results that you want by being somebody that is more of like a dictator, or somebody that is rude, somebody that doesn't show kindness to the people that are helping create that vision. So regardless of how stressed you are on set, in whatever moment that you are, remember that there are people looking to you for guidance and leadership. And that's why it's hard to be a DP. It's not an easy job because it's very easy to get frustrated very quickly. It's very easy to let your emotions go wild. Remind yourself where you are, who you are, and make sure that you're leading your team effectively with kindness, with compassion, and with grace. When you're in a position and you're working with a new director, new producers, new production company, I think it's important to recognize that you as a DP, not all the time were the one and only choice for this project. You may have been one choice out of 5 DPs and, just so happened that you were the one that got the job. If you look at it in the sense that you kind of have to continually keep proving yourself, you have to continually keep pushing the envelope and showing that director, producer, the production company, that you were the right choice. And for me, how I'm able to do that really stems in pre-production. Because, a lot of times on certain projects, you're not necessarily given a rate for pre-production. That's kind of just included in your job role. And sometimes you might not do the maximum effort in pre-production, but for this project in particular, I spent hours and days and weeks making sure that I was as prepared as possible going into this project. I knew the scale of it. I knew the size of it. I knew what could happen if one thing went wrong, or I wasn't clear on this one scene, or I wasn't sold on this one thing, or if I hadn't communicated the vision directly with the gaffer or key grip or the camera operator. I knew that I needed to be as 100% prepared as I possibly could. And I think that showed, because on the production day, on the shoot days, we did really well. We moved fast, we were effective, we were delegating work, we were making sure that we were pre-lighting the next scene, we were delegating crew members to start doing this thing, that thing, and essentially it was a very smooth production and a very tight schedule with a lot of scenes. We never went in overtime, and we were able to get everything we wanted, plus some, and they all looked amazing. And I think truly all of that is because of how prepared you have to be in pre-production. I think something that I also feared was that maybe my ideas aren't creative enough. What if I'm not as creative as other DPs? How do I even come up with creative ideas? Like, how am I pushing the envelope? What does that even look like? What is pushing the boundaries? Sometimes I don't even know. And I think that was a fear of mine in this project, was like, do I even have the creativity in my brain to do this? Like, am I even creative enough? I think a lot of that is just like that negative self-talk that sometimes we feel and we experience going into something new, or going into a new territory, or going into a new challenge. I think those are things that we feel, and I think that's kind of like a defense mechanism sometimes, that your brain is kind of telling you to, like, I don't know where we're going, this is new, I'm a little uncomfortable, so maybe let's just go back to where I felt comfortable. And a lot of the times you'll fall into the trap of agreeing with that part of your mind and like, oh, you're right, let's just stay calm here, let's stay in our comfort zone. But if you look at your mind as a muscle, in a sense that if you keep going back and retreating, your brain is never going to get stronger or grow into a new development. But by saying no to that part of your brain when it wants you to retreat, and you push yourself and you do that thing and you accomplish it and it works well, your new standard of where your brain is and where your mindset is starts to increase. And every time you do that, your brain starts to increase, your mindset starts to increase, your threshold gets higher. But every time you retreat, your mindset shifts downwards. It shifts downwards, and it starts to stay the same, and that's how you become stagnant. In those moments of where your mind is telling you to retreat, go back to your comfort zone. Don't push the envelope. Don't do this thing. Don't even speak your ideas. Challenge your brain to say, no, I am going to do that thing. I am going to try this thing. And if it doesn't work out exactly how I want it to, okay, I learned. How can I better it next time? What can I do next time to make that thing, that my idea, work? Regardless, it's important for you to recognize that your brain is a muscle that needs to be worked and needs to be pushed out of its own comfort zone. I think I'm at a very pivotal point in my career right now where I am looking at every project that I'm given, no matter how mundane or how boring that project may seem, and I am always trying to find ways now to elevate it no matter what. I think it's a mindset shift that I've had recently where I just am going bananas on any project that I'm working on, regardless, and pushing it to the absolute limit. And I can't wait for somebody to give me the top of the line project. I need to be the one to do it. I need to be the one to work and get there. And if it's not working, if the visual is a boring thing, it might be my fault because I'm not pushing the limits. I'm not pushing the director. I'm not pushing the producers. I'm not fighting for a elevated visual for every project, but I need to. And in my opinion, I feel like this is how you start to develop your voice and style as a DP. Don't be afraid, be courageous, try things, experiment, and remember, your brain is a muscle. When it tells you to retreat, tell it to F off. Seriously, tell it to F off and say, I'm going to do this thing, I don't care, and we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work, it's gonna be great, and when it does work, because it will, you will have grown. Embrace the challenges, embrace the fear, and step into new territory, because that is truly how you're going to grow. So that's it for today. Hopefully you found some wisdom in this video. I know that it's not the most exciting video, but I think sometimes these reflection videos that I need personally for myself, they're almost like a form of therapy, is valuable to some of you that may be feeling a certain way in your career. And hopefully one of you out there, two of you, whoever is watching this, hopefully you found some little nugget in this video that you could take and start to elevate your career and start to change the trajectory of your career. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.